At a young age, the love of music was instilled in Maya Vansuch.
If he once should return, pray tell him I am weeping too. I was born here in Dayton, but my father was in the Air Force. For the younger part of my life, we lived a bunch of different places, and then when I was 12, we moved back here, so really Dayton is my home. I would say that the love of music was really instilled in me from my parents. They gave me a lot of exposure to classical music and other types of music. What got me hooked on theater and opera and all of that in general, when I was very young, maybe 4 or 5, something like that, we were moving, as military families do, and my mom needed to pack and keep me occupied. So she put on a videotape of Hansel and Gretel at the Met, and I was enthralled. And Hansel and Gretel is a great story for little kids, so I just sat there and watched it and absorbed all the music and the fun storytelling and all of that. I studied classical singing from the time I was 12, but I also was in choirs and did, musical theater and all that kind of stuff. Had lots of different interests. That's a fairly typical age to start voice lessons. At that age, I wasn't singing the same music I am now, by any means. I started singing traditional English folk songs or things like that, and musical theater, and we slowly brought in classical music, easier pieces, and then by the time I was in high school, late high school, I was singing classical music. I wouldn't say there was an exact moment that I decided to choose opera as my career. It eventually came to a point where I was like, I can't envision doing anything else. So then that's when I headed off to college. When you go to school for voice, you have a private teacher. We would work on technique and learning new pieces and all that kind of thing. When I was young, I was working on simple things like how to breathe properly and how to, form my mouth into sounds that weren't ugly and things like that. Now I'm working on very different things. I'm working on how to expand my range, how to expand my breath support for holding longer phrases. You're always kind of building up on your technique. You have diction classes and language classes. I studied German, French, and Italian, which are some of the most common languages you sing in.
Upon graduation, Maya returned to Dayton and auditioned for Dayton Opera's Artist in Residence program. She was selected with 3 other singers.
I did basically 2 things. Number 1, I was a small role in La Cenerentola, which is the story of Cinderella, which was amazing, very fun. And the rest of my time spent as the artist in residence was working on an outreach program for schools. We had this little show, and it's perfect for school kids, and it really introduces them to classical music and opera. You're building your technique constantly, so there's certain roles that you're not ready for, but you will be later down the line once you have more experience and all of that. So I would say that, once you have some smaller roles, then you can move into slightly bigger roles and you keep building that, and then that's how you're ready for a lead role someday. The process is very involved. When I have a score in front of me and I'm learning a role, looking at it for the first time, I might listen to a recording of the show and follow along with my score so that I can, see how it's all structured. And then as I'm learning each piece, I'll work on the notes and I'll work on the language if it's a foreign language and just slowly build it up. There's a lot of practice time. And then after, I feel comfortable with the piece, I will start working on memorizing, which is a whole other ball game. A lot of time goes into that. You have to sing it over and over and check yourself and all of that. Typically, a company will give you a lot of time, from the time you audition to when you are starting rehearsals. So you'll have many months, which is good. A lot of time to work on it, really get it ingrained in your head. So the voice is often unpredictable. It's very, very affected by, the weather, how much water you drank, whether you have allergies, a cold, things like that. It varies a lot day by day. You have to figure out how to work through those. It's not always going to be the same, but that's also what's exciting about singing is that it isn't the same every day because it changes and your body changes. And yeah, you just get to work with it in a different way each time. I love being on stage for many reasons. I love the costumes and the set and bringing to life the story. The interacting with other singers and the acting experience of it is really, really exciting to me. Also, just having the challenge of performing a role vocally is exciting. And to infuse your own emotions and, how you feel the character would be thinking at this point or feeling at this point and all of that. And then, of course, the audience is a huge part of it. And it's so exciting to feel the audience there enjoying your performance. Very exciting.
Scherzare,